In the past few seasons, Arsenal have been one of the best teams in Europe, and whilst their football normally makes for very good viewing, this group of players have not won anything yet. But if you think it's all doom and gloom, you'd be wrong, far from it, as the future is in more than capable hands and feet. With more young stars rising from the club's famed Hale End academy to the hallowed turf at the Emirates Stadium, I'm wondering how they do it, what effect it has on future transfer plans, and who's next. I'm Matt for FourFourTwo, and with the help of journalist and massive Arsenal fan Phil Costa, we're going to be finding out just why Arsenal's academy is a talent goldmine. First things first though, it's been a disappointing season for the Gunners. They haven't reached the final of any competition and they fell short in their challenge for the title with Liverpool, and Arsenal fans will be the first to admit it.
We haven't really been good enough across the board. I mean, going forward, we've been too easy to figure out sometimes. We don't score a lot of goals. I mean, I think we are not really a free scoring team anyway. Well, we haven't been over the last two seasons. Defensively as well, although our numbers are very good still. We managed to concede just really silly, stupid goals on a weekly basis. A lot of individual errors, which wasn't, again, happening at all during our last two title challenges. So I know there's been a lot of stuff going against us this year, but we haven't really been good enough, and I think a lot of the players and more importantly 𝗕𝗫𝗧𝗏 will be more than honest about that. We just haven't been at a title challenging capacity, which is a big shame, especially considering Man City really dropped off this year as well. So that's how it goes. Sometimes it's going for you, sometimes it's not, but bad luck aside, we haven't been good enough either.
But along with Phil's rather frank and honest assessment of the season, there have been two high points, and they go by the names of 𝗬𝗫𝗏 and Myles Lewis-Skelly. The two Hale End graduates, that's Arsenal's world-renowned academy, have made the step up to men's football effortlessly, even if it hasn't come as a surprise. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Lewis-Skelly is now a full England international, scoring on his debut, and a regular starter in Arsenal's backline, whilst 𝗬𝗏 would have arguably been the most exciting 17-year-old in Europe, if it wasn't for someone named Lamine Yamal.
Arsenal fans knew about 𝗬𝗏. You know, he's been bubbling away in the background in the academy for some time now, so we've known about him. He hasn't been much of a surprise, but Lewis-Skelly to come into the team and do what he's done, I mean, none of us were this sure that he would be able to contribute so quickly or consistently. But there's something so special about his maturity, his leadership, his ability to face challenges head on. And if you look at what he's done this season, you know, his Premier League debut, Champions League debut, all the various milestones, the goal for England on his debut as well, playing at the 𝗫𝗏𝗏 and managing to lock up Rodrigo. It's just on top of all of the nonsense about his character and the Haaland fallout with the celebration. I mean, this is a very grounded talent, a very special talent, and as I said earlier, we knew about 𝗬𝗏, so that's not to minimize his impact at all, because he was pretty huge for us around January, Christmas time, when Saka first got injured and he came into the team. He was scoring goals. He's got that Arjen Robben-esque quality of being able to cut inside and then bend one into the far corner. You know, we're very fortunate to have them both coming through at the same time. They're like best mates. They've been together since they were 8 years old at the club, so that just adds a layer of pride, and it makes it all the more special to see them here together, you know.
This academy has been producing and crafting players for many a year, whether they've grown up in the academy or they've been brought in at a young age, and it served its purpose twofold. Firstly, you have the ones who have made the first team and gone on to succeed, like Fabregas, Wilshere, Saka, and obviously Lewis-Skelly and 𝗬𝗏𝗏 have had great starts. But then there is also the others that don't quite make a huge career at Arsenal, but still bring in big transfer fees. This alone is beneficial to the club, considering they spent nothing on them aside from youth training costs, but also for the financial fair play rules that see them able to make pure profit from the homegrown talent. I mean, the sales of Eddie Nketiah, Emil Smith-Rowe, Florian Balogun and Joe Willock have made the club just over £100 million of this pure profit in the last couple of years alone. But what exactly is it about the academy setup, the environment and their values that create such wonderful footballing talents?
In general, we get a lot right at youth level, because whether you're 6 or 16, there's a strong focus on the people we want you to be, as well as the professionals. You know, it's all about instilling values into the group, a work ethic, the ability to relate to your teammates, empathy, the drive to learn. And I think 𝗘𝗫𝗧𝗥𝗔 deserves a lot of credit for this. He's the head of the academy now for Arsenal. And he's been really influential in that. Obviously, in London, there is heaps of talent to take advantage of that are ready to be snapped up. So those initial scouts deserve huge credit. But once they're through your doors, a lot needs to happen before they even end up signing professional deals, let alone performing for the first team. So the fact that we're able to churn out this level of talent so consistently is a huge positive, and the club deserve praise for not only managing the players but the people as well. I think they're all exemplary people.
So with that said, who's next? Well, the cat's out the bag. Arteta said so in his press conference. A 15-year-old by the name of Max Ďáman.
There aren't any secrets in football anymore, you know, and there's only so long you can keep players like Max Ďáman a secret, because he's been involved in first team training. Mikel Arteta has spoken about him on several occasions now in press conferences and other interviews. He's scoring and assisting goals every week. There are youth highlights available on YouTube and on the Arsenal website, so you can see that there is something in this player. There is talent, there is something special. Primarily a number 10 with great vision, technique. He's got such a natural goal scoring instinct, and just the way he carries the ball is ridiculous. I mean, he's 15 years old now, but he's standing at maybe 6 feet tall. He's really elegant. He glides across the pitch when he's just, you know, brushing people off, using a shoulder here and an NFL style stiff arm there to keep people away from him. Just everything you want in a modern midfielder, really. And every time I'm on social media, there's an update from the Arsenal Academy page saying it's Max Ďáman again. He's scored another one. It's a hat-trick. It's 4. Arsenal and Arteta have taken some stick for not providing pathways for young players, but for me that's wrong. I think the issue is they weren't quite at the level, you know, whereas 𝗕𝗫𝗧𝗥𝗔, Ethan Nwaneri, they're all playing now every week. They're in the team playing Champions League semi-finals. So I think the issue is, if you're good enough, you will play under Arteta. And I think Max Ďáman is absolutely ready. He went on the warm winter break with them to Dubai as well. They even flew his school teachers out there. So it just shows you what kind of esteem they hold him in, and it absolutely wouldn't surprise me if we see him more regularly next season.
Right, I've seen and heard enough. Get your stocks in early. Max Ďáman is going straight to the very top. Okay, pressure aside, but bringing youngsters through does have an interesting side to it though, as it may affect the club's plans in the transfer market.
Many Arsenal fans would have argued that we needed 3 forwards this summer, to be honest, but the emergence of Nwaneri gives us cover behind Bukayo Saka on the right. He can deputise in the number 8 role for Martin Ødegaard, or even as the left 8 if needed, and Arteta has even spoken about him playing as a centre forward. He can be a support striker, so there are options with him, and I think he fulfills a valuable squad role, almost like a Trossard-esque player who can play across several roles, left, right, good goal threat. So he has minimised the need for 3 forwards, but I would still be very upset if 2 don't come in. And I think the same with 𝗬𝗓𝗍𝗓, who I mentioned earlier, came through as a 6 or an 8 in midfield, but has now been repurposed into a kind of inverted left back. So I'm not sure they will affect things too much, but maybe they have saved the need for a signing in either of their positions. You know, maybe we could have looked at a left back this summer, maybe we could have looked at a right winger this summer, but with them there now, I don't think we'll need to, although there are more important and pressing areas for Arsenal to be spending their money, I think.
Obviously, it's not just the youngsters. There are players at the other end of the footballing spectrum who could affect Arteta's summer plans, namely the likes of Tierney, Partey, Zinchenko and Jorginho, who are all leaving on a free. This frees up wages and spaces in the squad. However, there has been one main pain point for Arsenal that needs addressing in the transfer window, and probably with a big money signing. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out exactly where that is. It's the centre forward role.
Arsenal need to do quite a bit of work this summer. The striker market is a really poor one at the moment, maybe beyond 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗍𝗓𝗓, who is the closest thing you will get to a sure thing. And even then, Newcastle probably won't sell if they're going to get Champions League football. So you might need to get creative with a Viktor Gyökeres, a Benjamin Šeško, Hugo Ekitike, maybe even a Liam Delap, who could be an option with his relatively low release clause, £30 million, which is not much for a striker who's done very well in the Premier League this year. So the recent reporting says that Andrea Berta, the new sporting director, is a big fan of Gyökeres and could push through a move this summer. But the club have been hesitant to go for him in the past for various reasons. So let's see what happens. I think if they are going to go for him, his price will need to come down a little bit. But I would be absolutely amazed if we don't bring a centre forward in, because we've kind of neglected that area too much in recent seasons. I mean, even in January we needed somebody and we didn't sign anyone. So it's a number one priority, key area of need. Who the name is, I don't know, couldn't tell you, but that is the absolute key area that we need to strengthen in this summer.
But that's the issue that most clubs face. Do you spend big and with that set an impossibly high expectation on the incoming player, or do you go cheaper and then try not to get mad when you realise there's a reason someone only cost a few pennies in the first place? Figuratively, of course. In reality though, I can't think of too many players in recent years that have actually been worth their transfer fee, aside from the likes of Isak and obviously Erling Haaland. 𝗘𝗫𝗧𝗥𝗔, good team player, not enough goals. Rasmus Hojlund has some potential, probably not £70 million worth, and the less said about Romelu Lukaku's move to Chelsea and Darwin Núñez at Liverpool, the better. So with everything discussed today, from Arsenal's exciting youngsters to their recent lack of success, what does next season hold for the Gunners? What are the realistic aims?
Realistic aims would be to win the league. I mean, I'm very happy with Arteta. I think he's done an amazing job to come in and transform this club, because we were in the mud. Time could only go on for so long without winning anything, you know, and I think people are already starting to ask questions. We've fallen short a couple of years now, both in Europe and in the league, and it's been too long. It's been too long since Arsenal won a league, so I need to update my photo album, because I think I was 6 last time when we last did it, or you know, however, I think it was 2004, so I was a bit older, maybe 8 years old, but that's not good enough. The Costa photo album needs a blow of the cobwebs and another Polaroid in there, because yeah, these fans need something and they deserve something, I think. So that would be my feeling heading into next season.
Well, what I'm hearing is that Arsenal are pretty good. They're almost there, and the last few seasons are testament to this. But they need to act fast and they need to have a good summer transfer window, because I doubt there will be such a scarcity of challengers in the Premier League from next season. So, who should Arsenal be signing to challenge for the Premier League in the summer transfer window? Could it be 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗏 Isak? Conveniently on the latest edition of FourFourTwo that is actually out now. You can go and buy it in the stores. Or is there someone else that Arsenal should be signing? Let me know in the comment section down below. Subscribe to the channel whilst you're there, and I'll see you in the next video.